Interestingly enough, somebody sent me a meme to take a look at and asked for my criticism, constructive criticism. Okay, so let's get this started. It comes from a Facebook page called My Baby Daddy Ain't Shit. Ironically, I just did this topic. So let's get started. The meme goes as this: abuse of father's rights by sociopathic men. Sociopathic men will use the concept of father's right to whine and court about staying connected with children in whom they showed no interest prior to divorce, in order to remain engaged in a power and control relationship with the children's mother, and or poison the children's minds toward their mother in order to evade paying child support. Let's go ahead and break this down. Alright, so first up, let's go ahead and define a sociopath. What is a sociopath? Some people know this as an antisocial personality disorder. Usually it's pretty aggressive, not always hostile or dangerous, but usually means that somebody has a natural, not so healthy sense of special entitlement, special sense of self-worth, very grandiose personality that likes to exhibit like, hey, bitch, I'm better than you. So, the irony here is that a sociopath lacks a conscience. They don't necessarily lack remorse, they just lack a conscience. So, for people that lack a conscience, that means that, sure, you know the difference between wrong and right. Do you really care? Do you really have feelings? Not always, not usually. So let's go ahead and get down to this a little further. Sociopathic men will use the concept of father's rights to whine and court about staying connected with children. Last I checked, fathers, just like mothers, have a constitutional right to their children. Actually, let me get this right. A constant and continuing relationship with their children. So, children that were a product of a marriage prior to divorce. So what that means is that two people are married. You have a woman and a man. They're implying that a woman is a stay-at-home mom and that the man is the one going to work. So in essence, because they're going to work and they're paying the bills, they have no interest in their children because you, the ladies, are getting the benefits of staying home to take care of the child. So yes, we know that raising children is hard work, but isn't going to work equally hard work? So it's not that there is no interest in a child prior to divorce. It just simply means that there's an arrangement of who's going to stay home and take care of the child versus who's going to go to work and who's going to be the breadwinner and provide for all the bills, the amenities, the diapers, the wipes, maybe the bottles, maybe a breast pump, who knows? Okay, so there's this fair exchange of communication. This is decided upon in order to remain engaged in a power and control relationship with the children's mother, as if the relationship prior to divorce was always about control. No, see, a marriage is not about control. However, when people decide suddenly that they're going to get divorced, now one person or the other or both start arguing about who is in control of what. Who is in control of the cars? Who's in control of the house? Who's in control of the money? Who is in control of the children? So the reality is that these issues don't become an argument until one or both people decide that suddenly they're not going to be together or possibly even stay married if a marriage is involved. So separation or divorce for you unwed folk, let's go ahead and just say separated. Did you know that you're not worthy of your children because you go to work to provide for your children? Did you know that you're not worthy to raise your children because you must be disinterested because you are out paying the bills and putting diapers on their butts? Did you know that according to this Facebook page, My Baby Daddy Ain't Shit, You are now a sociopathic man who didn't give a shit about your child until suddenly one day you decided you didn't want to be with your baby mama, and now suddenly you want to be the golden daddy. Yeah, no. See, it doesn't work that way. However, what we will say is, this is not about control, ladies. This is about a man who's deciding, okay, well, if you don't want to be with me, okay, well, then when am I supposed to see my child if you and I no longer live together? If I'm good enough to go pay the bills and come home, when do I get some time with our child, since now you're going to be walking off with our child? We're not going to live in the same home, so when do I get to see our child? Oh, see, there's a difference between a sociopathic man and an average father. So a man that complains and says that his rights as a father are not being afforded him because he has 50% of that child's genetics, that means that child is half his and half yours, that this suddenly means that, oh, he's not allowed to have a father's right? No, wrong. Supreme Court says otherwise, and it actually says that the 14th Amendment says equal clause, equal protection clause. It says that both men and women have equal rights. So if you're going to start arguing that you want equal treatment, then you better start giving it right back. A father's right is an equal right, no different than a mother's right or a child's right. So a child, let's go ahead and get this straight. While it may not be concrete on a piece of paper, there is something called a child's Bill of Rights. It means that your child has a right to love whomever they choose, whether it be mom or dad. So there is a father's right. A father does have a right to love his child if he wants to. A father does have a right, just like a mother, to love their child unconditionally and without having a fear of reprisal, that because they choose to want to see their child more, without any fear of being told, well, hey, you want more child support? Okay, well, this isn't about child support. This is about, are my child's needs met? Okay, so let's go ahead and continue. And or poison the children's minds toward their mother in order to evade paying child support. So you dumb a man down to an every other weekend and less than 20% visitation time. We won't even call this parenting time, because you bitches out there that like to talk about my baby daddy ain't shit, that's all you care about is child support. Poisoning the children's minds. You think that a father who has less than 20% of time has the ability to poison their mind against your 80% time, when the majority of their time is spent, oh, that's right, doing what? No, not yet. Oh, see, on their 20%, they're stuck trying to figure out how they're going to cram 50% of what should have been their time into less than 20% of their time across the year, into that every other weekend. So less than 48 hours. They have to cram how much time? Oh, that's right. They have to cram 7 days into 2 days. Oh, but see, it doesn't even work that way. They have to cram 14 days into 2 days. Because if they're stuck with every other weekend, when do they get to see their children? When do you, the baby mama, decide that 2 days is sufficient? That 2 days, less than 20% of the year, is enough time to poison a child against thinking that, my daddy ain't shit, right? No. Doesn't work that way. See, let's go ahead and get something straight. When a woman has 80% custody, you either succeed or you fail as a parent during the time you have your child. When the child spends the remaining 20% of their time of their life trying to have fun with what little time they do have with a father, that doesn't make them a deadbeat, and it doesn't make them a sociopathic, whining father that demands to have equal rights in court. That means that you have now forced them into becoming what fathers hate the most. and that is to become what is called a Disneyland parent. A Disneyland parent is a parent that tries to cram in movie theaters, Disneyland, going golfing, going to the park, going to amusement parks, going to the fair, going anywhere you could possibly imagine in what little time they do fucking have, in order to be able to appease their children, spend some quality fun time together. And then the remaining 80% of the time they don't have their children, they're wondering, what can I do next time I see my children to make up for the 80% of the time that I don't have them? So suddenly half of their school bags and school supplies, half of their food, half of their housing, half of their bedding, half of everything they have is no longer good enough the second that mommy and daddy are no longer together. Because now they are now called a Disneyland dad. So you baby mamas that want to go calling these people Disneyland fathers or Disneyland daddies, get over yourself. You are the ones, by dumbing them down, have a rich sense of self-entitlement, a golden uterus complex, which means you think that by giving birth to those children, you are somehow superior to your male counterpart, and they're suddenly inferior to the fact that you are the mother raising your child and they are not. No, see, that makes you a sociopath. That makes you a malicious mother with narcissistic behavioral traits. So you want to start talking about psychological and psychiatric behavioral traits and disorders. Let's go ahead and talk about those. But the next time you do, be prepared for bitches like me to go ahead and tear your words apart and tear everything wide open about the reality that you have dumbed down your exes to make them feel like they are not important in comparison to your role in your child's life. Because get this straight, men and women, fathers and mothers, have an equal right to their child. No different than a child has an equal right to love both their mother and father. Now, with exception of the LGBT community, which I respect your rights as well, we will go ahead and just say this. You, baby mama, ain't shit when it comes to you declaring that a sociopathic man must exist for a father who is fighting for the right to be with his child. So how about you get over yourself? So who really is the one that ain't shit now?